With all of the hauntings, murders, missing children, and incidents attached to its name, it's easy to forget that Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was at one point a very successful family restaurant. With animatronic entertainers, skill games, arcade cabinets, and more, the place was a hangout for kids and teens alike. But if there was one thing Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was known for, it was for their food. I'm lying. Nobody went to Freddy's for the pizza. In fact, despite being a pizzeria at heart, over the Five Nights at Freddy's series, Freddy's has gone from a once-beloved pizzeria that's fallen onto hard times to a thriving eatery cutting so many corners that there were rumors of them reselling leftover pieces of pizza. And truthfully, it was very possible. And this, along with the bizarre menu items such as savory sodas, bowls of relish, and wrapped up hunks of butter, you might have been shocked of how anyone might have eaten there at all. Today, we're going to talk about the oddities and atrocities of Freddy's various food stuff, mostly covering Security Breach and Help Wanted, since we know more about their menus, but dipping into others as well. Now, I won't be trying to replicate these dishes for two reasons. First, I'm a pretty basic to bad cook. Not the kind that burns everything, but the sort where everything I cook, seasoned or not, no matter how closely I follow the recipe or not, tastes bland. Like, doesn't taste like anything. Which is part of the reason I've been having so much trouble cooking all of the stuff in the FNAF cookbook. Because after I made rock hard chicken and burgers that took almost 2 hours to prep and barely tasted any better than what you could buy for a buck at McDonald's, yeah, it's been a struggle to keep going with that. The other reason is that where I live, I can't easily find or buy a lot of the ingredients needed for some of the recipes, and if I could, I'd probably go broke. Now, I know Animatronic made a video covering some of the recipes and remaking the food, so I would definitely check that out. I'll put my writing credentials to good use and try to paint you a mental picture of the food in question. Yes, including the really, really bad ones. And at the end of the video, we will be going over some of the tastiest and most disgusting of the bunch. So stick around for then. Also, note I will not be covering the cookbook in today's video. I want to focus on in-game stuff, so alas, Funtime Freddy's Dirty Wedges will have to wait. Let's cover the general stuff first. As hinted throughout FNAF and emphasized in games such as Pizzeria Simulator, Help Wanted, and Security Breach, Freddy's food is mid-tier fare disguised as fanciful cuisine. The goal is to produce as much pretty-looking slop at the cheapest price, with the Pizzaplex, the only Freddy's that we really know the full menu of, emphasizing automation and microwavability. Freddy's doesn't care if their food is good. In fact, they don't seem concerned about making people think their food's good either, as their apathy slips into marketing often, directly calling food cheap, disappointing, or otherwise. Though other times they do make a meager effort to make it look decent enough. Their staple is their pizza. Being a pizzeria, pizza would be their main draw, but not many of the games go into detail until Security Breach and Help Wanted. During the former is where the rumor came about Freddy's reselling old pizza slices, as a customer noticed that the slices didn't match up, as stated in a duffel bag note. The truth is, with how automated the pizza making is in the Pizzaplex, this could be very possible. But more so, it's just a reference to the Chuck E. Cheese rumor of the same kind. Now, considering the popularity of Freddy's in the past, and comparing it to real-life examples of Chuck E. Cheese, here's what seems to have gone down. In the beginning, at the diner and immediately after, the pizzas were probably handmade and likely did taste good. Cheesy and saucy, with fresh enough toppings, and crust so good you might be tempted to actually eat it instead of tossing it out and starting another slice. But as Freddy's became more commercialized and overprocessed, they lost any of that initial flavor. The dough is frozen and rolled out, the toppings are pre-sliced and dispensed onto the pizza is zapped with heat and then served. Probably has that nice, blisteringly hot, underdone center microwave feel. It is likely flavorless but serviceable. While Fazbear's cares about profit over passion, I would doubt that they would allow their pizzas to fall anywhere under acceptable. so likely the pizza is just truly mediocre. Not as good as frozen oven pizza, but probably somewhat similar. The next thing Freddy's has been known for is their cake. Plenty of minigames depict small, self-serve cakes, and we see cakes in various games, and while we have only a few images of these cakes, they're probably reasonably tasty, if only because, unlike the pizza, we don't see how these cakes are made. And cheap cakes in general are usually pretty good. The first cake we see is in the Take the Cake to the Children minigame, which shows us what looks to be a small yellow cake topped with pink frosting, some sprinkles, and a single candle. Help Wanted gives us our first look at a classic Freddy's cake. Stylized with either vanilla and chocolate icing depending on your choice, the cake is a traditional white cake, or yellow and the coloring might be just a little light. Iced with confetti sprinkles, happy birthday iced on the top, and candles. Notably, this doesn't match the cake in the Take the Cake minigame, but I think that they're both on the money. It's literally just a similar base with whatever icing the birthday kid wants on it. The Pizzaplex is said to have carrot cake by Roxy and is shown to have ice cream cakes as well, which can be carried in via Freddy's cake compartment stomach hatch. Speaking of which, I like the idea that Afton covered up Funtime Freddy's stomach hatch by saying it's 4 cakes, and then some executive years later saw that and assumed it was legit and just went along with it. Oh yeah, let's put ice cream that needs to be kept in shape inside of a giant walking machine and surround it with springs that overheat when you try to open it up. Great plan. So unlike the pizza, I can confidently say the cakes are probably pretty good. It's really hard to screw up cakes. They don't go stale. Cakes are too magical to go stale. Now, Freddy's cupcakes are often referenced but seldom seen beyond minigames. They are depicted with pink icing and a yellow body, matching Chica's Mr. Cupcake, and are probably stylized after him, or he's styled after them. Now, we don't know much about these cupcakes, but I'm going to fall back on the cake assumption and assume that Freddy's couldn't mess up cupcakes that bad, especially since they're a staple. But what is cake without ice cream? Well, we hear that Freddy's has ice cream, but the only kind we know of, really, before the Pizzaplex days, is Circus Baby's ice cream. Shown in both Sister Location and Help Wanted 2, Circus Baby has a built-in ice cream maker and produces vanilla double-scooped cones topped with a cherry, notably used to lure in children with, but seemingly tastes good as our character sounds content licking it up. The only real concerning part about this being, well, we're not sure how often the ice cream is changed out, but we do know what's been stored alongside it in the same space. That is concerning. So I would say that even though the vanilla soft serve flavor would probably cover it up, there might be a off taste there. The Mega Pizzaplex also offers Freddy and Friends shaped popsicles, sort of like those weird SpongeBob ones, you know the ones. Likely cheap quality as well, but at least a familiar and colorful sort of cheapness. The kind that tastes great as a kid, but as an adult, kinda seems a little too hard and tastes a little too sweet. There's also plenty of ice cream in Bonnie Bowl, but I'll break that down in the Bonnie Bowl section. Now we get into the real meat, the snacks, which, yes, does contain some meat. I would also like to take a moment to apologize, because from this moment on, my voice is going to start sounding a little funky. Due to the length of this video, I broke up my recording sessions and spontaneously got a little under the weather in the process. Sorry about that. I hope it's not too noticeable. Anyway, back to the video. First introduced in Help Wanted and carried into Help Wanted 2 in Security Breach, Freddy's has a plethora of candy and snack foods that they produce for their brand. Some of it's good, some of it's alright, some of it's sounding downright repulsive. Let's start with the good stuff. We've got the Freddy Fazbear. Sounds like it would be a heavy chocolate taste with a thick, chewy bite to it. Tasty. Then we've got Bonnie Bites. Chocolate and berry flavored bites. Probably a berry gummy center in the middle of a chocolate exterior. Sounds good. In the book VIP, Monty absolutely hates these things, and they're so sticky that they can both completely incapacitate him, sticking him to whatever he touches, and forces his mouth to stay closed. We're going to assume that this was just a Monty Looney Tunes moment, but if that's how sticky these things are, you will be losing some teeth. We've got the Lemon Chica Bar, a parody of lemon chicken, but only claims to taste like lemon, so good. The Pirate Plunder Bar, an odd bar that is clearly a chocolate bar in-game, but was turned into a Rice Krispie treat in the cookbook. Still tasty. The Faz Bar, we don't really know anything about this one. It kind of sounds like it would be a little bland, sort of like a basic chocolate bar, but serviceable. We've got the Fazzy's flavor-bursting sweets, the Chewy treat, sounds painful but tasty, Cat's Black Licorice, like it or not, it is a typical candy that circulates around. The Bite Late Night candy is blue, probably blueberry. There's Eat and Cry Sadberry, blueberry sour candy, possibly like a warhead. Okay, a lot of these candies probably taste like your basic candy aisle Halloween haul fare. Buccaneer Bounty, a tropical berry-flavored fruit snack. So I'm assuming something akin to Welch's Fruit Snacks or Fruit Gushers. Lollipops, as featured in Help Wanted 2, basically just a big lolly. Then we have the Meat Bites, which are, as per the name, meatball bites. I'm assuming they're like jerky, so I'm going to give them the benefit of a doubt, and just assume they're not the kind that will spoil. And finally, El Chips Chips. Tortilla-style tortilla chips. Big taste tastes big in a little bag that is small. All these snacks sound not only serviceable, but like they could be tasty. The only on the fence being maybe the Chewy, but the highlights being Bonnie Bites, the Plunder Bar, the Buccaneer Bounty, basically anything with Foxy on it's gonna taste good. But there's still plenty more candy. Now let's move on to the odd stuff. The Disappointment Chips. I don't understand why Fast Entertainment would deem this chip bag to be the place for full honesty. I get it. They're trying to bank on folks wanting a bland, basic chip, but I don't know. They seem to be a little too insistent that this thing tastes like cardboard. But the most baffling part, this tiny bag of chips is apparently 850 calories. That has got to be a joke. Well, I mean, of course it's a joke, but where's that coming from? What's worse is that, as we'll see later on, these chips are used to be blended up into frozen drinks. Next up, we have one that sounds good, but is just a little too weird to not be here. The allergy-friendly mixed nuts. And you might be wondering, how is it possible to have nut allergy-friendly nuts? And it is because they do not contain nuts. There's something else. Wheat or corn, something that tastes like nuts but isn't nuts. That is clever, but that amount of confusion leads to questionable marketing, and with Fazbear's history, I don't exactly trust them. Next is the Butter for One, a reference to exotic butters that is, as advertised, a single stick of butter. At best, it's a creamy bar with a buttery taste. At worst, it is a greasy stick of butter melting in a wrapper. Teethy Chews. It sounds exactly like that cheap candy that'll yank your crowns off, lose your baby teeth in, and won't come out through brushings. But might taste okay. Goblins, cutesy Halloween name, but doesn't describe anything about it. The Lavender Dollop. I don't think the average kid is going to be into lavender candy, and frankly, I'm not sure why a business would choose this over, say, grape. Third Eye Mint. Looks okay, but I'm putting it in the weird category because I'm pretty sure this might be a Jacksepticeye reference. We also have the NDA Candies from Help Wanted 2. When we finish working on Helpy and the Helpy repair, we give him a piece of NDA candy to keep his mouth shut about what happened. That is, these candies are made so that children injured at Freddy's unknowingly sign away their right to talk about the event or legally pursue Freddy's, which is both illegal and wouldn't hold up in court for various reasons. In fact, the only way this would work is if you spoke to the parents, let them know the full extent of the situation without any omission or lies, got them to sign, and they willingly took the candy. But even then, I'm not sure if every state, but if these are lifelong injuries, the kids themselves might be able to pursue future legal action after they turn 18. Though, Maybe they would only be able to sue their parents. I'm not a lawyer. So, the NDA candies. First, we have the lollipop from earlier, which is included with these. But unlike the other ones, this one doesn't have a wrapper, so I could see it a little harder to prove it in court. We've got the NDA mint and the gag order black licorice, which not only legally bind you into staying silent, but don't sound that good anyways. And the 5-star lemon bar. Sounds tasty. Now you're required to leave a 5-star review. Fantastic. Also, while making this video, I just happened to stumble upon these. Bucket Bob's Itty Bitty Butter Bites. I didn't even know these were here. Cute. And absolutely useless as far as first aid goes. But as gross as it is to ply off injured kids with candy, we now get into the grossest candy. This stuff is just dismal. Starting with Chicken of the Sea, starting with Chica of the Sea. Packaged similar to Foxy's Buccaneer Bounty, giving it the illusion of gummies, this is actually some sort of briny seafood package. It's referred to as a seafood sampler. Our certified blend of mostly identifiable meats will delight even the saltiest sailor. Yeah, that doesn't sound questionable at all. I don't trust mystery meat on its own, let alone packaged and peddled by Freddy's. And also, just imagine that. It's basically a tuna pouch, but not a pouch, in a candy wrapper. It's going to get greasy, fishy oil all over kids' hands, and I doubt they, the age demographic they're marketing towards, is really going to prefer balls of fish meat over traditional candy. Then we have Crudlets. So there's a few of these candies that are based off of those cheap Tootsie Rolls that you would get in Halloween candy. The Crudlet doesn't sound appetizing, the Squirmy sounds even worse, but the absolute worst is the Sloppy. What a name! Compared to the Disappointment Chips, of which it seems to be related to, this gives a whole new feeling. Now, the last candies we are discussing came specifically from the Mega Pizzaplex, and with them, we're going to be getting into a lot of foods specifically from the Pizzaplex. And these are the drop candies. Moon Drops, Sunny Drops, and Carrot Drops. Sunny Drops and Moon Drops are the candies of the daycare attendant, Sun and Moon, being marketed as energizing and sleepy time candy, respectively. This has led to some theorizing or suspecting that the candy has additives such as caffeine or melatonin, though this is not confirmed. Children's melatonin is a thing on the market, but kids' caffeine isn't, as far as I'm aware, unless there's just a lot of sugar in it. The flavors are never specified, but I'd say lemon and berry are probably good guesses. The texture of the candies are also never clarified, but being drops, they're likely hard candies. Though if they are melatonin, then they could be circular-shaped gummies. Carrot Drops are even more obscure. Connected with Glamrock Bonnie, they are found in his Pinata in Ruin, and assumedly were discontinued after he disappeared and was replaced. These likely tasted like carrot cake. I mean, they could have just tasted like carrots, but knowing the Pizzaplex has carrot cake, I would say the sweeter flavor is more likely. Though if they were straight up carrot flavored, that probably explains why they were replaced so quickly. Also, and I forgot all about it, but there is a jar of pickles in Pizzeria Simulator. You unlock it and place it in your restaurant, and it doesn't really do anything. It's just a jar of pickles, though it gets referenced on a Butter vs. Pickles arcade machine in Security Breach. This actually spawned a theory that the Butters stood in for Michael or Henry, and the Pickles stood in for Will. At least I heard that theory from a comment. I kind of love this theory, because I immediately imagine this scenario where Henry and Will are like compulsive butter and pickle eaters respectively. That after Charlie's death, Will gave Henry like a my condolences basket of butters, and then just decided to make it like a permanent part of his robotics company. And then Henry put this jar of pickles on the catalog in Pizzeria Simulator as a grim reminder. I know you enjoy playing Pizzeria Manager, Michael, but the sour truth still haunts us all. This pickled wound first inflicted upon me, and now spreading its juice upon others. With the candy and snacks finished, now to get into the real bulk of this video. In Security Breach and backed up in Help Wanted 2, the Mega Pizzaplex is shown to have a ton of eateries located inside of it. And every one of them has a fully readable and detailed menu, so we can see exactly what was being served there. Now, these restaurants focus mostly on American fare, but they offer some Mexican, Thai, and Japanese alternatives. Though, again, like an Americanized version of those. We'll start with El Chips first off. El Chips is a restaurant that started off on its own as a pizzeria simulator, and then joined with Freddy's to get its own spot in the Pizzaplex by Security Breach. It's sort of like an in-universe version of Taco Bell, at least I think so. We're going to go through the menus and then into the actual food we see in Help Wanted 2. Out front is a standee that shows off some of the most popular meals and deals of the restaurant, such as the taco ring, beans and rice, and the taco. Yeah, the taco's the most popular, who'd figure. The absolutely unlordly prices include $15 for the ultimate taco, $14 for a kid's taco, which is likely smaller, $13 for a burrito, no notes of what's on it, $20 for a Mexican salad, like I guess a taco salad, $10 for guac bites, and $10 for a salsa bar, which baffles me, because is it the salsa bar, where you can choose your own amount and flavor of salsa? Or is it literally a bar of hardened salsa? Knowing the Pizzaplex, it could be. You can also add on lettuce, sour cream, and extra cheese, which begs the question of what exactly is in the Mexican salad, if you have to buy lettuce. Assumedly that one still has it on it. There's also bow-tie-shaped churros and a flan with a lightning bolt on it, not to be confused with the double-layered Faz-Flan. The highlight of the menu is the Family Scrambler, which is 31 tacos, which look like mini tacos to me, with 12 dips and what may be salsa in the center. For $100. I think the price on this depends squarely on if those are full-size tacos or mini tacos. Full-size tacos, and it's a steal. That is, compared to the $15 ultimate taco. Mini tacos, and I think it's a ripoff. Though to be fair, I don't know who in their right mind would come to Freddy's and decide to eat an entire taco platter anyways. I guess for a party, but elsewise, yeah, I don't know. The menu inside of El Chips goes from overpriced to absolutely bafflingly disgusting really fast. The Help Wanted 2 version has a lot more of what you'd expect. Various tacos and burritos, fajitas, fried potatoes, nothing too shocking. But in Security Breach, oh boy, it's fine at first. Black bean wraps, Mexican-styled pizza, nachos, and then the oily beans show up. Okay, fried banana doesn't sound so bad. That actually sounds like it'd be good. Like the lemon potato? Pineapple potato? Are you talking about a hot potato stuffed with just random cocktails of fruit? We got like cubes of pineapple stuffed inside of a potato. The strawberry Chica taco? This one actually comes back once we get into Help Wanted 2's food prep. Let's cover that one now. El Chips food prep suggests to us that most of El Chips food is flash microwaved for serving, which is very on brand. In little plastic boxes too. They serve 6 main entrees with 3 sides, corn, rice, and black beans, and they have fizzy Fazes and Sodaroni as drinks. The entrees include, first off, the strawberry taco, also known as the skinny Chica taco, which seems to be strawberry, avocado, and maybe feta cheese, on top of a chocolate or mole sauce. I don't imagine any of this tasting good. It seems like it would be a mouthful of sweetened mush, since nothing is fresh. But I don't think it'll pull off being a dessert. But there is food that does look good here, by which I mean anything else on the entree menu. Such as the Faz-tato, a baked potato topped with cheese, chilies, chives, and likely red pepper flakes, and absolutely no fruit. Each bite of soft potato, wrapped in a mixture of melted cheese and savory chili, smooth and satisfying, especially since potatoes usually hold up in the microwave. I think this is the proper replacement for the absolutely repulsive pineapple potato, and the less gross but somewhat confused lemon potato. There's also Roxy's Rockin' Nachos, which appear on the menu in Security Breach 2. These are fully loaded nachos with cheese, black olives, red pepper flakes, likely, and jalapeno slices. These look especially tasty and are popular enough to be served in the theater, too. Might be a little soggy, though. Microwave. Monty's Fiesta Pizza is a Mexican pizza, or a quesadilla the size of a self-serve pizza covered in pizza toppings. Sounds like an actually good pizza alternative. Probably stuffed with cheese that oozes out with every bite. This actually looks like it would belong at a Freddy's. Perfect. The Glam Wraps are about as typical as they sound. They're a cluster of wraps filled with corn, parsley, black beans, rice, and peppers. And also, maybe pinto beans. These look pretty good as well. And 3 for 1. A steal. And then there's the Faz-Flan. The Faz-Flan, likely a continuation of the flan on the sign, is a half chocolate and half caramel flan. Microwaved to perfection and served probably smooth and sweet. There's nothing wrong with it. Except that all of these entrees can be topped with nacho cheese, hot sauce, and guacamole. Most of them are fine combinations. And then you come across the Faz-Flan. Faz-Flan topped with nacho cheese, or hot sauce, or a big squirt of guacamole. And the staff bots regularly order this for the guests. That's just wrong. All in all, El Chips offers overpriced microwave food that does, at times, look like it would be good. The fact that the Faz-tato wasn't in the cookbook was a crime. And the menu in Security Breach straight up looks like it was written by a staff bot, loaded with a random cluster of ingredients that vaguely resembles food. On second thought, considering the Pizzaplex's automation, it probably was written by a staff bot. El Chips is the safest option for eating at least. Just watch your wallet and get your flan straight. And maybe don't order, giant tubs of corn with nothing else. Moving on, beside El Chips is Mazer Size, the workout studios that boasts a built-in buffet. It serves, and I quote, pizza, nachos, fries, and cookies. And soda, too. Forget the quality. Anything in there is downright toxic. It's been sitting out marinating in the wafting scent of body odor for hours. Now that's the smell of diarrhea. But if you're looking for something a little sweeter, right across the atrium is Bonnie Bowl, which has its own ice cream parlor located inside, staffed by Circus baby-themed staff bots and known for its confusing lack of punctuation. But the ice cream shop offers a wide selection of flavors, such as blueberry goat cheese, Freddy Atomic, triple chocolate fudge, mint chocolate chip, berry mash, cotton candy, and the no doubt beloved Chunky Bonnie. These can be purchased in 1 to 3 scoops or sundae form. As for the prices, I'm going to assume the periods are just missing, and Chunky Bonnie is $3.25, not $325. All in all, sounds like a actually pretty good selection. I'd say the only possibly iffy one is the goat cheese, but goat cheese can be sweet. I'm assuming it's got a sweet cheesecake taste. But we can't talk about ice cream without talking about the Mega Pizzaplex's Mega Milkshakes, or Freak Shakes. Freak Shakes are the term coined for towering milkshakes filled to the brim and often topped with candy, icing, and even entire slices of cake. These things look delicious, if borderline too sweet to stomach. The Pizzaplex has 3 $12 Freak Shakes that can be found on the menu and are shown on advertisements. Decadent and decked out, some with questionable ingredients. The first one, though, looks quite delicious. It's a purple ice cream milkshake with a spurt of chocolate, nuts, cherries, and chocolate straws. Now, there is a milkshake on the menu known as the Roxy Road. The milkshake is described as triple berry ice cream, raspberry, blueberry, and strawberry, with chocolate mousse, nuts, and lime swirls. Considering that this is listed with the other 2 Freak Shakes, I think it's pretty safe to say that this is the Roxy Road, and it looks like a must-have at the Pizzaplex. A smooth ice cream blend, the sweet chocolate contrasting with the tangy taste of the berries. Goes down easy. Delicious. The second is the Pizza Shake. Now, on the menu, it cutely suggests that the pizza on top might be gummy. In the advertisement, yeah, no, that pizza is positively drippy limp. That is a soggy piece of regular pizza on top of a bunch of whipped cream. Oof. But on the plus side, while it looks like there's olives and green peppers in it, these are just painted on the glass. I hope. I noticed Roxy Road's green swirls also looked painted on the glass too. The actual milkshake looks just to be a basic chocolate, but then it's slapped with a big dollop of cheese. But, there's a catch. And that catch is that maybe it is candy, in which case, you aren't going to be sucking down a smooth chocolate milkshake and then have a blob of greasy pizza cheese making it up your straw. Alas, this is the same company that made Sodaroni and blends chips in with their smoothies. Yeah, I think that's a real pizza slice. And yet, even if it is, it's nowhere near as awful as the third milkshake, one so foul, only Monty himself is shown touching it, and you know he has an iron stomach. The burger shake. I'll be strung up to dry before I tolerate the burger shake. It is so much worse than you think. A chocolate shake with a burger sat on top of it, covered in whipped cream, and then covered in either ketchup and mustard or icing that looks like it, with a straw skewered through some pickle slices. What makes this so much worse is that while the pizza was protected from the chocolate shake by whipped cream and was possibly gummy, there's nothing to protect that burger. That burger is making direct milkshake contact. That bun will get soggy and leak in, seek into the chocolate milkshake, leaving large chunks of it floating in. You're sucking a sip of chocolate and suddenly there comes a random ketchup-smothered pickle hunk. Oh god, and if the burger is hot chunks in the middle of a milkshake, ugh. This burger shake might be the worst thing on the menu. I mean, there's some rancid stuff still incoming, but soggy burger submerged in half-melted chocolate milkshake is just... For $12? Yeah, no. Moving downstairs, we arrive at Chica's Cupcake Shop, where there's a wide display of cupcakes and cakes on display, either real or fake. The Cupcake Shop's real claim to fame, however, is their drink menu that I'll cover when I reach the drinks. Now we're swinging downstairs into the atrium and pizza. We'll go through the menus on display before addressing the food prep level. First off, this is where you're primarily buying pizza. There's 3 basic pizzas: cheese pizza, veggie pizza, and pepperoni pizza. But there's also plenty of add-ons such as anchovies, pickles, broccoli, pineapple, in case you didn't get enough of the pineapple earlier, sausage, bacon, pepperoni, ham, and hamburger. This is, in fact, a lie. See, in the basement, we get to use a staff bot to make the pizza in Security Breach, and the notes say the staff bots replace the human employees. And from there, we see that the pizzeria really only has a small selection of toppings. 3 kinds of sauces: tomato, purple, and green, maybe ube and, if I pronounce that right, and pesto. 3 kinds of cheeses: cheddar, nacho, and mozzarella. 3 kinds of meat. If you can decipher what these meats are supposed to be, then you're better than me. And not meat, the fake meat. Even in the Help Wanted 2 levels, the toppings come out to tomato, nacho, or Fazer sauce, cheese, meat, and not meat. So I would take a guess and say that instead of being an in-game oversight, the most likely explanation is that Freddy's advertises these mini toppings, but then just delivers a pizza with whatever they have and pretends it's what they wanted. Then, if people complain, they blame the staff bots. Heck, people can't complain because they're complaining to staff bots. We'll get back to pizza in a second. There's also a selection of pastas. Pizza pasta topped with pizza ingredients, including pepperoni, which makes a lot of sense for a pizzeria. Spinach pasta, the vegetarian alternative, and Alfredo pasta with chicken. So there's a long note in Security Breach about this elusive Alfredo pasta, one that either explains its addition to its menu or at least gives us a look at how incompetent the place is to run if it was already there. The long and short is that some Karen, Lily, wanted chicken Alfredo, but they don't make chicken Alfredo.
Big boss comes down and fires the worker who says they can't make chicken Alfredo. Requests staff bot to make chicken Alfredo. Staff bot cannot compute. Big boss gets fired. Surprised Pikachu face. The Alfredo pasta on the menu does have chicken in it, so it's very likely this was implemented after the big chicken fiasco. Though it could also be that the place is so automated that by saying chicken Alfredo and not Alfredo pasta, the whole kitchen fell apart. There's also popcorn, cheesy popcorn, and kettle corn. Pretzels, both stuffed with cheese and covered in cinnamon. There's hot dogs, chili dogs, and the one that haunts me the most, the burger dog. The burger dog is a hot dog made out of burger meat and toppings. First of all, I don't see hamburger meat molded into a hot dog shape cooking up that well. It might, but it probably requires care that a staff bot is not going to be giving it. The more dire thing here is this line, wrapped in lettuce. And here's the question. Is that a burger dog wrapped in lettuce and tucked into a bun? Or is it a burger dog wrapped in lettuce with no bun? Is the lettuce the bun? The other hot dogs don't specify buns, but I just have this feeling, with how backwards the Pizzaplex can get, that this is straight up an undercooked inside, burned outside ground beef frank, wrapped in lettuce and drenched in ketchup and mustard. Consider it a hunch. There's also the atrium sides and salads, including a menu consisting of honey roasted Brussels sprouts, mac and cheese, roasted potatoes, and corn claw. Corn claw? Corn slaw. Then we have the stuffed tomatoes, which are pretty much a reverse of stuffed bell peppers, down to having bell peppers stuffed in them and chicken. That sounds like it would be odd. I think the chicken would make it a little dry. Ironically, looking this up, stuffed tomatoes are a real thing, but they're usually stuffed with cheese and breadcrumbs. The irony being that this is the one thing that would benefit from having pizza-style ingredients, and they're not here. Also, the pickle mash. Mashed up pickles with red pepper flakes and ground white pepper. Smooshed up pickles. Pretty much seasoned relish. That's not a meal. That's not even a side. That's blasphemy of some form. Though, what can you expect from a place that sells plain tomato sauce for nearly $3? Come on by the atrium. Get your bunless burger hot dog with a bowl of relish on the side. And when you're done, head to the fried treats stand, which has a surprisingly tasty spread on display. Deep fried cookies, fried cheesecake, fried bananas, churros, and even corn dogs. All of them described in tasty detail, such as the cheesecake battered, fried, and topped with powdered sugar. The standout here is the beaver tail, something that sounds like it should be up at El Chips. The beaver tail is fried dough topped with powdered sugar and with a chocolate dipping sauce. That sounds like really good. That is proper amusement park food. Forget the Alfredo pasta and the burger shake. But now that that's out of the way, let's cover the food prep level in Help 1 and 2, pizza, pizza, pizza. You work in the kitchen preparing meals for the atrium, and like I said earlier, they match up pretty well. The primary entree is pizza, with tomato, nacho cheese, and Fazzer sauce, and shredded cheese, meat, and not meat as toppings. Sounds good. Except that this is the pre-sliced toppings, micro-nuked pizza we've been talking about. So odds are, it's not the best. But there's also the pizzarito, a pizza-stuffed burrito. Now that might be good. Burritos are fine from a microwave. Except for one problem. And that is how the pizzarito is made. See, it's not pizza toppings in a burrito wrap. This is literally a fully baked pizza that is wrapped into a burrito, which means that thing is a downright enormous mountain of dough with a little pizza in the center. You'll be chewing through this thing for 10 minutes, because, see, the pizza is pre-baked before it gets rolled. There's no real way to thin that out properly. And look how big the thing is. The thing's going to be a nightmare to eat. Will it taste good? Maybe once you eventually reach the center. Pizza 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 also has the nastiest salad you could possibly imagine. A pre-cut salad in a bowl sitting in a dispenser, not even dispensing into a bowl until you summon it, which means it's likely wilted and could be old. Then you drench it with pizza toppings, which sound okay, except I don't know, I don't think tomato sauce would taste good on a salad. Nacho cheese either, Fazzer sauce maybe. At least there's perfectly nice french fries as a side. Is what I would say if they weren't sitting out on the counter getting stale. And before you say this is all just part of the minigame, the staff bots are shown running through the automated processes like this in Security Breach. So I think this is pretty close to the real deal. If anything, in Security Breach it establishes there's no human workers. And I don't expect anything to be safe or fresh. Well, that wraps up Pizza. Also in the atrium is a little snack space food stand beside Fazzer Blast. The snack space being a reference to the Fazbear Frights location of the same name, though in description, they couldn't be any more different. I can't remember in the book, but I'm pretty sure the snack space was kind of like a gas station food equivalent. In Security Breach, it's a stall. The snack space carries snacks such as pizza, corn dogs, soft pretzels, french fries, a Bonnie, mochi, donut, whatever that is, candied peanuts, hamburgers, Freddy fudge bars, Choco Chicas, what looks like blondies, which are vanilla brownies, and cherry blast roll-ups, which I assume are like fruit roll-ups. Sounds good. Snack space gets a pass from me. Monty's Gator Grub is located in Monty's Gator Golf and sells food too, but there isn't a menu. Though I want to say that they probably do have fried shrimp balls and Monty head-shaped beignets. Roxy Raceway also has a sushi stand located in it. I would definitely not eat sushi prepared by Freddy's, especially not in a stand of all places. So let's move outside of the atrium and into the lobby, and the Faz Pad, a little coffee shop cafe located upstairs. But it's not just donuts and breakfast food, there's appetizers, entrees, and desserts, and plenty of coffee. With the starters, we have the fried Brussels sprouts, a bowl of corn, Fredamame, which is probably just edamame, likely just a bowl of it, and korma chunks. Korma is an Indian curry dish made out of meat or vegetables and a seasoned sauce, so it's likely chunks of meat with sauce on them, I think. Then there's a kale pail, something so baffling that I looked it up and it somehow thought I was looking for Jigpaw. Assumedly it is a pail, or perhaps another bowl, of kale, and hopefully seasoned. Which, yes, that makes 3 things on the menu that are just bowls of vegetables, or veggie, starch, and a legume. I guess it's good that the kids are getting vegetables. Next is the pineapple and shrimp tempura, a type of breaded shrimp likely topped with pineapple. Since that's a big draw of the Pizzaplex, their use of pineapple. Next are the entrees, starting with the Pram Ra Roxy, which is likely a renamed Pra Ram chicken, a Thai dish. Then is the Chica Tikka Masala, based off of the chicken tikka masala, a marinated chicken curry dish. Next is pepperoni curry with pepperoni in it, probably pizza flavored with cheese in the works. Freddy fried rice, Faz rice. A lot of these I think are just straight up the original dishes with the new names, such as in our next dish, the Masa Moondrop curry, which I don't think actually has moondrops in it. I think this is just a cutesy name for the Masa Man curry. Not sure why it's not Masa Moon Man though. Though this Masa Man curry might be a reference to John and Charlie's Thai date in the Twisted Ones, where John gets the Masa Man curry and Charlie gets Pad Thai, and right under the Masa Moondrop curry, past the meatloaf sandwich, is Pad See You, which I think is supposed to be a pun. Pad Thai See You, a reference to Vanny. I think something got a little lost on both of these names. But what I take from this is Vanny X Moon confirmed. And if the meatloaf sandwich is as good as King of the Hill made it sound, I'm totally on board with that. Though it sort of doesn't match the rest of the menu. Now on to the desserts. Okra sorbet. So, sorbet is not ice cream, despite the fact that it's a frozen dessert. There's no milk and cream, it's just made of juice and fruit, and likely sweeteners. Which means this is a whole lot of frozen blended okra. This isn't just a green smoothie in which vegetables are often masked with other fruits and ingredients. This is just frozen okra with maybe some sugar in it. As someone from the South, okra is plentiful around here where I live. It's downright a staple. Even here, I don't think anyone would get away with okra sorbet. No way. Maybe as a gimmick food. Moving on to something tastier, the lemon sundrop cake. It sounds adorable. A tiny lemon cake, maybe with sundrop flavoring. I like to think of it being in the shape of Sun's face, but like cuter. Probably tastes like a little lemon cake typically does. Then there's the Montgomery Mango Mochi. Mango flavored mochi. Simple enough. All in all, a good haul. But I'm a little confused to why the coffee-themed cafe has so few actual cafe options and so much Thai food. Like, there's nothing wrong with Thai food. It just feels like a peculiar amount of fusion cuisine. I mean, like right beside the meatloaf sandwich. I would imagine more donuts or coffee cake and less bowls of beans. And if you're only going to have one ice cream like dessert on the menu, flavor it with anything else. How about using some of that pineapple? Well, moving on. Now to the daycare theater, where there is a rather sizable concession stand. It has the same menu as the atrium, so we'll instead be looking at the Help Wanted 2 menu. Maybe before everything got moldy. I'm going to be talking about the food in its heyday, not as shown in game. Concession stand contains a slew of snack food items that we've already covered, such as Butter for One, Meat Bites, Lemon Chica bars, and Disappointment chips. There's also pizza slices, hot dogs, Roxy's Rockin' Nachos, along with Chica Chowda. Chica Chowder comes in apparently 2 variations. There's a kind that looks like a classic chowder in a cupcake-shaped bread bowl that I really hope only looks like a cupcake. And the Pizza Chica Chowder, which is cheese and pepperoni in a bread bowl. This Pizza Chowder is the one that appears in-game, while the other one is just an advertisement exclusive. Now, Pizza Chowder actually sounds like a really good idea. No doubt it's extremely rich and could very well be straight nacho cheese, but that's almost worth clogging your arteries for. A once-in-a-lifetime foodstuff that works. It's a shame that it's in a dispenser situation, but hopefully it's microwaved somewhere in the process. There's also popcorn and pretzels, including the elusive Meat Pretzel, a nod towards a quote by Gregory,
"I don't want to be crushed and twisted into a meat pretzel."
The Meat Pretzel looks like a hot dog that's been bent into a pretzel shape. It looks so much like a pretzel that it's actually pretty difficult to tell the two apart by looks alone. All the entrees and popcorn and pretzels can get toppings of nacho cheese, butter, and ketchup. In most cases, these combinations are fine, but I find the ketchup on popcorn thing kinda gross. It's not even a taste thing. It's like the idea of sticking your hand into a container of wet popcorn filled with ketchup. No. The other big draw of the concession stands are the blendies, which I'll tackle in the drinks. Other than that, there's some food found in the Rockstar Row green rooms, such as Freddy pancakes and Chica cupcakes, and after some consideration, I think these foods are props. I don't think Chica would be able to resist eating a cupcake in her room, and I don't think the employees are routinely replacing food in there for show, but those could definitely be menu items. Also, since I have nowhere else to put this, there's this meat-based foam adhesive known as poultry proxy. I don't know if that counts as food, but I do know that is how you get ulcers. And that's all the food, but we are not done. No, we have the drinks, and there are a ton of them. Buckle up, folks. Starting with Foxy's Cove Cooler. Cove Cooler is a tasty bottled soft drink. In-game, we don't know much about the flavor, but the book outlines it as a mildly carbonated pineapple and citrus flavored soda. And unlike the Plunder Bar that has some differences to the book counterpart, I could actually believe this might be what Cove Cooler tastes like. Though it is a mystery, it looks tasty. Sodaroni, however. Sodaroni is a carbonated beverage that tastes like pepperoni, and yes, it sounds absolutely repulsive. Like, I can get behind grass soda. Grass smells sweet when you cut it. I can even understand pickle juice slushies. But pepperoni soda just sounds so greasy and meaty, even without the grease and meat. It is so foul that in the FNAF cookbook, they just straight up turned it into a recipe with red berries instead, which was actually a great choice. It does taste tasty. But in-game, by all accounts, Sodaroni does taste like cold, bubbly meat, and it's even worse in blendee form. A blendee is a frozen drink made with mixing a carbonated beverage with some sort of candy. In the case of the Sodaroni blendee, it's with the meaty meat bites. So, meat bites floating in a frozen drink that tastes like pepperoni. That's just straight up foul. The only thing that might match this detestable soda is Monty's Mystery Mix, a fountain drink mix with pizza flavoring. Ugh. Unlike Sodaroni, though, Monty's Mystery Mix was discontinued and hid behind the bowling alley, to be used later as bait for Chica's untimely meat pretzeling. But a more successful drink is Exotic Beverage, one based off of exotic butters, FNAF's running joke that originated from sister location when Michael Afton received a gift basket full of them, which I probably should have mentioned earlier, but I digress. Described as smooth and tasty and incredible, I am going to assume that Exotic Beverage probably has a creamy, buttery taste, kind of like butterbeer instead of something like salted butter, maybe like a buttery cream soda. And like Sodaroni, it too has a blendee, the Exotic Blendee, made from blending exotic beverage and butter for one. This combination is either a delicious creamy delight or the oiliest thing in the Pizzaplex, oily beans included. It really depends on the taste and texturing of that butter. The potential is there. Next is the Chica Chug.
Now, the history of the Chica Chug is very interesting. In Help Wanted, the Chica Chug was referred to as a bouillon-flavored drink, which, yes, would taste like bubbly chicken water. Then, in Security Breach, it was changed into a strawberry protein shake, perhaps to fit with Mazer's eyes. And then, in Help Wanted 2, it looks like a normal strawberry soda. I'm going to say that Help Wanted 2's example is probably the one we should go by, and that it's maybe a clear protein shake.
A Chica Chuggy is made with blending Chica Chug and a lemon Chica bar together, making a strawberry frozen treat with a lemon bite, making this also the only blendee that sounds genuinely good. The final drink with a blendee is the DJ Music Man branded Techno Cooler. We don't know anything about the drink other than it's purple, and it's also a cooler. So I'm guessing grape, maybe. Though since there's already a grape drink at the Pizzaplex, maybe not. Mixed with disappointment chips, it creates the DJ Music Man Blendee, a frozen soda drink with flakes of soggy bland chips floating in it. That's almost as bad as a Sodaroni, but not quite. But these are not the main drinks of the Pizzaplex. No, that would be the Fizzy Faz. Fizzy Faz is a Freddy branded soda made in-house directly in the Pizzaplex in giant vats in the basement. Which, yes, is concerning considering some of the other things we discover in the basement, but it's at least cheaper for them. It has to be. We know that's rule number 1 at Freddy's. Fizzy Faz comes in a multitude of flavors, such as Freddy Orange, Chica Pink Lemonade, Monty Sour Lime, Roxy Grape, and limited edition Roxy Cola. All seem very popular and are sold throughout the Pizzaplex. Weirdly enough, one of the duffel bags mentions a cherry flavor, but that is never mentioned anywhere else. Likely this is an oversight, but I like to think that maybe this is Bonnie's discontinued flavor due to his red accents, eyes, and the whole bowling ball thing, bowling cherry thing. But there's actually more flavors of Fizzy Faz that are only alluded to in Help Wanted 2's Fizzy Faz minigame. You play as a worker filling drink orders 1 cup at a time while manning a group of staff bots. Funny, this is a job that probably could be automated, and this is the one that has a human at it. From this level, we learn about 1, maybe 2 other flavors. Lemonade, which is likely just an abbreviation of Chica's Pink Lemonade, and Nighttime. We don't hear about any others, but this means that basically, depending on the order, they can blend up whatever kind they want, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was other flavors floating around. Finally, there is the Graveyard, a mixed drink made of Fizzy Faz to activate a secret memory doll in Help Wanted 2. Long story. Short story is that it's sugar, protein, acid, caffeine, and a shot of Sodaroni that's been left sitting out. Close up the office and send it out, and Golden Freddy comes up through the pipe. It tastes like flat soda with a bunch of extra stuff added to it. Tastes like an early grave. Fizzy Faz is also used as a speed power-up in game, likely due to its high caffeine and sugar content. Fair.
Now let's finally return to the Chica's Cupcake shop and its drink menu. None of the drinks on it being served anywhere else, I believe, don't quote me on that. There's River Water, a kiwi and green apple soda, Fizzy Blast, fizzy grape and coconut soda, Ultimate Plum Juice, probably the most peculiar thing here, which is plum juice, purple grapes, lemon juice, prunes, and blackberries.
Sounds good, but I don't know. That combination might go straight through you if you get my meaning. It's the screaming squits. There's then the Cupcake Slurpee, which actually sounds a lot like the Blendee, made of vanilla ice cream frosting and lemon soda. That actually sounds really good. The Roxy Slurpee is cherry and blackberry juice or soda mixed with crushed ice. Then the Moonlight Juice, blueberries, figs, and lemon juice. Delicious. All of these sound pretty tasty, and other than the liquid laxative, they would probably be quite refreshing. Then there's the Faz-Pad menu, with a slew of coffee drinks with cutesy Freddy and friends' names. Now, I'm going to spare myself the homework of looking up every single coffee drink's real-life counterpart and just give you the names. The Glam Rock Latte is based off of the latte, the Pumpkin Spice Fazzacino is based off of the cappuccino, Chica Chai is based off of chai tea, Monty Matcha Latte based off the latte with matcha flavoring, the Affogator based off of the affogato? This one I'll actually explain because this is the first time I've heard of it. It's usually hot espresso poured atop a scoop of gelato, or Italian ice cream, sometimes with a shot of liqueur involved. And finally, the last drink in the Pizzaplex, glue. This is how you get constipation. So I think that is all of the food and drinks, not counting the books because that would be way too big of a bite for me to chew. And notably, there's not a ton of really noticeable foods in the books, except maybe the gumdrop nose that turns you into a candy statue, but I can pencil that in for another day. And also, I guess, Chocolate Bonnie, but I don't think you're going to get away with eating Chocolate Bonnie or his deformed melted counterpart. Instead, we're going to narrow down the absolute best and absolute worst food off of the list. Ranking it would be a little hard because a lot of this food is located in the tolerable but not entirely sure quality. So when it comes to the best, there's actually a few standouts. The beaver tail, the fried dough covered in powdered sugar with chocolate sauce, is definitely up there. It's very simple, but it's so simple that it would be incredibly hard to botch. The Chica Chowda, while being extremely rich sounding, might be really tasty. Healthy? Nah, this is a bowl of liquid cheese, but for a treat now and then it's fine. Bread might be a little funny with how it's cooked, but still. The Faz-tato is a definite highlight, and I think potatoes would probably have an easier time with the flash baking of the Pizzaplex. With the melted cheese and the chili on top, I just think they're neat. But out of all of the foods in the Pizzaplex, I think the one that would realistically be the best would be the Roxy Road Milkshake. A sweet berry ice cream with chocolate mousse and wafer rolls doesn't require any cooking at all, so the cut corners of the preparation don't show up as much. Less risk of food poisoning, and looks good enough to eat. Not to mention, it's only $12. You could barely get anything at El Chips for $12. In my opinion, this would be a must if you were visiting a real-life Pizzaplex. Now on to the worst. There's a few competitors. We've got the potato stuffed with pineapple, of course, the okra-flavored sorbet, the mashed pickles, which doesn't sound disgusting but is just like not really a food, the possibly bunless burger dog, ketchup in your popcorn, left-out sushi, and the saddest salad I've ever seen. There's just a lot of weird stuff going on at the Pizzaplex. Everything in Mazer size is a lost cause, just don't even try it. The Sodaroni Blendee sounds like a nightmare, a meaty slushy filled with meatballs, salty and cold, and greasy. The pepperoni grease is what gets me the most. This type of drink you'll take a sip of and then have a film on your tongue and on the roof of your mouth. It'll stick in your teeth, it'll linger on your breath, it will haunt you. But it's not the worst menu item. That goes to the burger shake. But that is partially because of Sodaroni, because of what we've discovered about Freddy's and their method for choosing flavors. So, the burger shake looks like a burger sinking into a shake, getting soggy and leaving behind hunks of slop in the shake for you to drink up later. But what is that shake? I assumed it was chocolate, because who would have an actual burger flavored shake? Fazbear Entertainment would. After all, they made the Sodaroni Blendee. And what about the Roxy Road? Remember when it said there were lime swirls in it? Well, they look like they're painted on the glass, but as per the description, they're real. So does that mean the ketchup and mustard lines on the burger shake glass, are they real? Is the burger shake a straight up burger shake? Well, I'm starting to think so, and that is the most rancid thing possible. A slurry of cold meat, soggy bread chunks, and pickles, sloshed together in a glass with swirls of condiments, and a big fat burger slowly sinking into the mess. Ladies and gentlemen, God Almighty. That is the worst Freddy's has to offer, and there's no irony about the Roxy Road being the best, because this is a dichotomy at Freddy's. They have the meats to make the most delicious things, but stupidity occasionally weasels its way in, and that's a weasel you're not gonna pop. So what have we learned? Don't eat at Freddy's. It's not worth it. Unless you're hitting the ice cream parlor, avoid everything else. Even the stuff that's good you can make at home cheaper. Secondly, the Pizzaplex cookbook really should have had the Faz-tato in it. In fact, there are a few recipes from the games that would have worked great in that book. And it's a good cookbook. But that would have been neat. At least Glamrock Freddy got the mac and cheese, my comfort character and my comfort food together at last. Well, we have reached the end. I'm going to have a healthy midnight snack of mini donuts and salt and vinegar potato chips. Thank you for watching.